In the winter of 1937, the Arctic was living through one of its longest nights, 6 full months without the sun. Here, darkness is not merely the absence of light, but a dense presence, as if you are walking inside something alive that is watching you. Anilak was a hunter from the Inuit people, in his mid-30s, known for his extreme calm. He was not someone who easily believed in legends, but he never mocked them either. In the Arctic, mocking old stories is considered foolishness, not courage. That night, Anilak went out with his only dog to set fox traps far from the village. The sky was clear, the stars sharp like knives, and the wind unnaturally still. The kind of stillness that tells you something is about to happen. After hours of walking, he felt something strange. Not a sound, not a movement, but a feeling. A feeling that the ground beneath him was no longer the same. He stopped, looked around. Nothing. Whiteness stretching endlessly, darkness heavy above him, but his dog began to whimper, then suddenly sat down and refused to move. In Inuit culture, when a dog refuses to walk, you do not force it. But Anilak was exhausted, and the cold had begun to gnaw at his limbs. He ignored the feeling and pulled the leash forward just one step. And then, the sound disappeared. No wind, no footsteps, not even his own breathing, as if the entire world had been muted at once. Then he saw something he had never seen before. On the horizon, far away, there was a faint green light, moving slowly, unlike the aurora borealis. It was closer to a breathing entity. The more he focused on it, the more it felt as if the light was drawing nearer, even though it wasn't moving. Then he heard a whisper. Not words, but his voice, his own, Anilak's voice calling his name. Here, according to what was later told, he made the mistake the Inuit had warned against for thousands of years. He answered. He said, "I'm here." In the next moment, he felt as if he were falling, but without movement, as if the space around him collapsed, leaving him suspended. When he opened his eyes, he was no longer in the Arctic. He was standing on ice. Yes. But the sky was an unnatural color, dark purple, and the stars drifted slowly as if swimming. Strangest of all, the green light was now very close. It approached until it took on a form. Not human, not animal, but something resembling both, without clear features. It did not speak, yet Anilak understood. The green light told him he was not dead, and not alive as he once was, and that he had entered a place humans were never meant to enter during the darkness. Then it said only one thing: if you return, you will not be as you were. Then the light vanished. Anilak woke to shouting, the voices of the men from his village. They found him lying on the ice after 3 days of disappearance, but Anilak swore it had felt like only hours. He returned to the village, and everyone noticed the change immediately. His eyes no longer reflected light the way they once had, and he seemed to know things no one had told him. Anilak returned, but not as he had left. He became far more silent, studying the ground for long moments before taking a step, stopping suddenly for no clear reason, as if he sensed things others could not. Not sounds, but signals he could not explain. He did not predict. He merely hesitated where he once rushed forward and withdrew where others advanced with confidence. Some said he had become a coward. Others said he had become cautious beyond reason. Even his dog no longer looked at him the same way. The Inuit elders said Anilak had not lost his way, but crossed an unseen boundary. In Inuit traditions, as they believe, there are people called those who walk between light and darkness, people who return from places no one should return from. They are not considered evil, but they are no longer fully human. They said Anilak had become one of these returnees, and that strange beings exist during the polar night. Months later, Anilak went out alone once more. He said only, "The light is calling me again," and he was never seen again. Years later, when a researcher who visited the region was asked about the story, he said simply, "The human mind in prolonged darkness does not see things as they are, but as it can endure them." He added with a smile, "The Arctic does not need ghosts. Silence, cold, and a loneliness unlike any other are enough." But the people of the Arctic still say, perhaps science explains what happened inside Anilak's mind, but it does not explain why he no longer dared to look at the light for too long. So what do you think? What is the true explanation of this story? Share your thoughts so we can discuss. Thank you and goodbye.